Hi, I'm Sean Reynolds.
And I'm Rachel Reynolds.
And welcome to What Was I Made For?
The podcast about doing what you love and prioritising your happiness.
While we aim to inspire, motivate and entertain you, please note that we're not licensed therapists or certified experts.
So if you're considering major life decisions like starting a llama farm or quitting your job to become a professional skydiving instructor, maybe get a second opinion.
Enjoy the show.
See, I just do what I want, do what I love. I don't wanna stop, don't wanna grow up. Just me being me, don't follow the crowd. Don't be a sheep, look at me now. But now it's time to make more, create more. Looking at the points, cause it's time to take score. Feeling like I'm grown now that I can face more. Got one question, what was I made for?
Welcome back, everybody.
Episode 3, our first guest.
Yeah.
But I messed up. I messed up.
What do you mean?
Cameras.
Yeah, it was supposed to be our first YouTube episode, but...
Well, it'll be on YouTube, but once again, it will be audio only. I thought we were ready with the cameras and stuff, but we thought we filmed it all, didn't we?
Yeah, and then...
Corruption,
yeah. Which is such a shame because we are currently sat in the What Was I Made For set, basically.
It looks beautiful. Let's describe it.
Nah, they'll just have to wait one more week.
We do believe that the footage worked with our second guest, but we won't announce who that is just yet. Anyway, today we had Jack Shepherd on, who is a very good friend of ours, a very, very, very talented guitarist who has played with the likes of Mimi Webb, Stormzy, JP Cooper, etc. You'll have to listen to the episode to find out who else.
And it was so nice, even though he's such a good friend of ours, even he said afterwards to sort of delve back into his childhood and realise how it's sort of dreams have become a reality, I think is one of the things you said actually to him on the pod. And he said afterwards how...
it's like therapy almost.
Yeah,
anyway, he said it was lovely to relive it all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really inspiring for a lot of aspiring musicians out there or people who are just into music.
I mean, my favourite part of this episode was Jack's drinks choice.
I mean, it's worth listening just to hear the voice note of his drinks choice. Yeah, I would. It's quite early on as well, so even if you don't want to stick out the whole thing, just listen to that.
He's a funny man.
He is. Well, enjoy the episode. There's literally not even anything in my mouth. What the hell?
Right, he's just choking on air.
Yep. Enjoy Jack Shepherd.
Here we go. Right, Jack. So you're the first guest that we've had on.
The very first. Honoured. Thank you.
Yeah.
Who else would we have?
That's very kind.
There's
a list of...
it's too many people. Jack was just the only first one that was available, so
I was just around
which is an absolute surprise to me because you are one of the busiest people I know. Always working on stuff.
Always,
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, true and not true. I make myself look busier, so I get time off. But yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, smart.
Yeah, exactly. We all do a bit.
I would consider you an extremely successful man.
Would you really?
I would.
That's a really nice compliment.
I think you are very modest. You don't like to talk about the things you've achieved.
Yeah.
And if you do talk about them, you don't talk about them as being as sort of exciting as they are.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I mean, just a brief overview. You've played some of the biggest venues. You've recorded in some of the biggest studios. You've worked with some of the biggest artists, and people wouldn't necessarily know that because you're not a no.
It's just when you list it, yeah.
But you're not someone that shouts about it online, really.
Yeah.
No, I think the modesty thing. I'm not a bragger. I'm not a. It always feels. I think I'm really British in that sense. Quite just low key about it, and that's how I like it. I think just keeps you grounded. I think keeps you like working hard and keeps you looking forward to the next thing and just keeping going. I think if I stand back too often and go, yeah, check me out, it's a bit like.
But
I feel like we jumped ahead.
Let's dial it right back. And actually, we need to get into something. As I'm finishing my tea.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I think I know what you're going to say, but I was going to say, because you're our first guest, you were the first one to receive our email.
I was.
Yeah, and in the bottom of our prep email, we say, we want to have your drink ready for you.
Drink of choice.
Can you play the beginning of Jack's voice?
You've really stumped me with this drinks question. I'm unsure. I mean, you know I'm a tea man. But is that too straightforward? Who knows? I'm still thinking on it. I will get back to you. I promise. Possibly an orange juice.
Do you know what it is? Because I know. I'm very fortunate to get to come and visit you guys often. I know there's going to be a cup of tea, as there was.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, do I want to double down and double the tea? But then there's quite a lot of caffeine. Do I just go with water? Or is that boring? Is this going to be a part of the podcast? So I thought, do you know what? I just like orange juice. I'm just going to go for orange juice.
It is a part of the podcast because I think when everyone's got a nice drink in their hand, they always feel a bit more relaxed and ready to talk.
Plus, I find it interesting to know what people would
But I'll be
choose.
honest, because we've got some a bit of some spirits over there, some alcohol-free beers in the fridge.
Yeah.
And Jack goes for an OJ, which was a rogue choice, but I like it.
Yeah, let's get an orange juice.
Thank you very much.
I just love how long it took us to compose that email that we're now going to send to all our guests.
Yeah.
And that we were like, oh yeah, no, throw in at the end, you know.
Yeah.
And what drink do you want, by the way, after all this other stuff?
Just
Look at that. Fancy glass as well.
Oh, it's a nice glass.
Jojo's that.
Asda's own.
Asda's own.
No expense spare, clearly. Could have got like the good stuff, Sean.
What do you mean the good stuff? Oranges are oranges.
Tropicana.
Right, so we're gonna dial it right back, Jack, and we're gonna talk about Baby Jack.
Okay.
Aww.
And what did Baby Jack want to do with his life?
Well, I think when I was really young, the first thing I became obsessed. Well, the first couple of things I was obsessed with was just Star Wars and Lego, which ordinarily would sound irrelevant, but Star Wars was kind of my entry into music. So my sister started playing piano. So my grandma, I think, gifted us a piano or something. We had a small upright in the house. And she started playing piano when she was a bit old. I think she started when she was 5, so I would have been 1. Or something around then. Anyway, really young. As I got towards 5, I discovered Star Wars, and then I just wanted to play the music from Star Wars. So I would sit before she got home from school, because she hated me playing her piano. But I basically just wanted to be her. I wanted to be able to play like she did, and she could play really well, like really amazing classical.
And it'd be playing the Star Wars.
It would just be da 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 ding 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 ding. I get it wrong, but eventually I started to get it right, and yeah, sort of doing all right. I think my dad's mum, she was always in choirs and into playing piano and things like that, and my dad's dad was a composer for the BBC and all this kind of stuff, so there was a history of like classical music. So my nan jumped to the chance, put me into piano lessons and was like, right, you're going to learn classical stuff. So that was really nice of her. And yeah, so at 5 I started piano lessons and just did that. I really didn't like it because my teacher was really harsh, sort of a smack the hands kind of approach, and it was all a bit
Oh my God, you
very
get away with
strict.
that now?
How that you managed to. Well, you wanted to continue with music when someone was that harsh. It's quite surprising.
Yeah, but I think that's why I stopped playing piano and kind of never went back.
Oh,
but it was too classical. It was too. So at the time that's happening, or I'm learning classical piano, in the car might be Stevie Wonder or John Mayer or Foo Fighters, or like quite very non-classical, particularly Foo Fighters, like, or heavy bands like that. So I was getting my real musical kicks from what my parents were listening to, and
much more guitar-based music as well.
Yeah, which obviously was starting to trickle in. So then I did piano till I was 10, and then I think it was my cousin's birthday. She was a bit younger than me, and she got given a guitar. Oh no, it wasn't her birthday, sorry, it was Christmas. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She got given a guitar, and she didn't really like it. She couldn't really play it. Just on Christmas Day, she was just faffing around with it, and she just it didn't come naturally to her, and I'd always wanted to pick one up.
Give it in.
I was like, no, but and yet again, everyone left the room, and I sort of just like stayed with it and just picked it up and kind of immediately found those same notes that I found on the piano or whatever. And I was like, oh, and then
just Star Wars again.
Just Star Wars. But yeah, not in a braggy way, but I just remember it immediately. I was playing chords on that first day. I was just like, oh,
Wow.
that's that. And those notes go there and they're in a different order because it is different on guitar and piano. The intervals are different, blah, blah, blah. But it started to just make sense. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I think my dad overheard or something, or I might have said in the car, like, I really like that guitar or whatever. And then super lucky, but my next birthday, my parents bought me a little, £50 acoustic or whatever. And
a little Squire thing, or?
Oh, it's one of those like starter kits, like
Argos.
You
Argos
probably get,
kit.
Back in the day it would have been Argos,
Yeah,
but these days, Amazon acoustic guitar comes with a case, a strap that you don't need, and a couple of plectrums or whatever, and that was enough. And I played that till Christmas. So my birthday's in August, so I did about 3-4 months of that, and then I was like, I want an electric guitar. I want to do it. I just wanted to do more and discover more. So that was it. I started realizing that those albums they were listening to, it was electric guitar on those. So I wanted to play that. And then, different influences all across that time just kept me hungry for it, kept me hungry to keep getting better. I just became obsessed, completely took over Lego, completely took over football, cricket, everything else I was passionate about just fell completely to the wayside. It's just music.
That's like ultimate finding your passion or finding it obviously just felt right. Something clicked.
Yeah. When you go back now, you realize like the amount of help I had. My grandma put me in those lessons. I'm so fortunate that she could do that. My parents buying me that guitar, having that belief, or they could have just said no and just got me another toy, but they didn't. And they're hugely to thank for me being able to do it. Because from I think 11, I went to this academy in. It wasn't an academy, it was called an academy, but it was just like a little after school place in Epsom where we lived, called Realistic Rock.
Shout out.
And
are they still going now?
I don't think so, They were until recently. I think they were there a couple of years ago. And essentially, it was like an after-school thing or like a weekend thing. I think it was on Saturdays. And all these kids that played different instruments are kids just like me, all 10, 11. Some played bass, some played drums. Some were figuring out whether they could sing. And everyone just sort of like came together and you did just learn, I don't know, like a Green Day song or something. And suddenly I was learning the music that I wanted to. And we formed a band, 4 of us, and that was my life until I was 16, just that band. So it really went from the classical piano very quickly into guitar, and then playing music like I'd been listening to and wanted to. So
do you think it's weird, or have you ever thought about how weird it is and how maybe fortunate you are to have found something you're that passionate about at such a young age? Because that's kind of like you haven't done anything else since. How old were you when you got your first guitar?
10, I think.
So since you're 10 years old, you haven't done anything else?
No.
People would think that's quite unlikely.
I think it is unlikely, yeah.
But then was it just a hobby though, or were you like, do you remember how young you were when you realised this is what I actually want to do to make a living?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, I think at that age I wasn't necessarily thinking about making a living, but as such. But I remember, so the college I went to, ACM, I remember hearing about that when I was about 14 and just, I was never going to do anything else. I was never going to go to uni. It just looked so cool. It was like Realistic Rock on steroids. It was just, not literally, it was just that academy, but times 10. The tutors and the lecturers there were like, there was a guy who played for like Alice Cooper was like my guitar teacher. It was just like he'd just
so just people who like
they were doing it. They were what I
Yeah.
wanted to be, and I was like, I have to go there. Like, and I was reading about the people that worked there online. I was like, I have to go there. So uni was never an option in my mind, anyway. So I remember, probably 13, 14, thinking, right, well, as soon as I'm done with school, I can get straight there. And then as soon as I'm done with that, I can start touring and working and blah, 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 blah. And I just, I was so excited. But the band I was in, that band that formed when I was really young, that really shaped, I think I thought that was going to be it. I thought I'd be in that band.
What was the name of the
forever.
I
band?
was just about to say.
The name of the band is none of your business. It's a terrible band name, so I won't be disclosing that.
Is your music still online? Is that why?
Yeah.
You don't want people to find that.
Lou, my wife, absolutely grilled me for it the other day. Occasionally, we'll be in the car on a long journey, and she'll be
whack it
queuing up
on.
music on Spotify. She'll just put it on.
Well, you're not singing in it
is
though,
it on
right?
Spotify?
Oh,
Yeah,
on Spotify?
I'm singing like BB's. Yeah. It's. Don't worry, nobody's missing out by not hearing it.
So there's no chance of us being able to share a clip of this on the story.
Oh my god, we're not. I love you both to bits, but no way, no way.
I'm
do you know what it
so
is?
intrigued now. I'd want to hear it after
It's-
this.
We won't
we
share
can
it,
go
but I
over
want
it.
to hear
Yeah, I
it.
definitely
wanna
wanna hear it.
Yeah, that's yeah. You can
Okay,
a
amazing.
short clip. Yeah.
And ACM, that's still a thing now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's still going.
Yeah,
I met
still
you. I
music
met you
college.
while you were at ACM.
You did, yeah.
Me
Do
and Lou.
you pay to go there? Sorry, I find I know that anyone listening who
Yes, no, it's a good
maybe
point.
might
It's a
be
good
like,
point.
Yes, you
so
do.
you do
Yeah.
pay. So because you were saying, uni definitely wasn't for me, but that's essentially what you did instead of uni, or is it college?
Basically, I was academic, but I didn't enjoy it. So I just the thought of because I think Brit school was a thing, but that had like I think you had to do science and maths and English. There was still a balance of academic and
It was still a school.
creative. Yeah, it was still a school to an extent. Whereas ACM was like, no, it's just the lessons were like performance scales.
So what do you get out of ACM? Like, what's the qualification?
So you can get a degree from ACM.
Oh, right. So it's like an alternative to uni.
Yeah, I think it's just like a. They're a college, I guess,
Right.
but yeah, they do degrees.
Yeah.
I stayed till high diploma, so I did 2 years, and then to be brutally honest, I didn't want a huge amount of student loan debt.
Yeah, sure.
And also,
Wow, God, you were on it really with how you were planning your future.
do you know what? I was just desperate to gig. I just wanted to
Right.
play my instrument. I just wanted to. But that was literally from the age of 11 to 16, we're in this band, and every weekend we'd rehearse on a Saturday, and then we'd go and play a local festival or something Saturday afternoon, Sunday. Every single weekend was taken up with that. When that band broke up, which is right at the start of college for me, I just wasn't gigging anymore. So the second I could finish college and get back to that or something similar to that was going to be amazing. So first year was great. Second year, I felt like I learnt a bit less, and I just thought, 2 years to do a degree. And essentially the degree was important if you wanted to teach in future. And I'm a terrible guitar teacher. So bad.
Have you tried?
Are you just
I've
shredding
tried,
in
yeah.
front of their face, just showing off like, well, this is
No,
what I
no.
can do?
Why do you think you're so bad?
I know I'm so bad. Do you know why? I've had 4 students, right? Let's just say for starters, none of them still play. So there's that. So I really didn't ignite any
Okay,
passion.
So you've
that's
single-handedly
great,
put
yeah.
people off.
Oh, yeah, I've put them off, yeah. In fact, I encouraged their other projects. There was a lad who came to me, he was like, really down today. I was like, what's up, mate? He was like, all my mates are playing football. And I was literally like, put the guitar down. This is your dad's dream. Go and play football. You love it.
Wow.
Because his dad was just
I
like, he's got to do this.
love that.
But anyway, none of them still play. And I couldn't teach them anything. It's not like
Smoke on the
it's
water,
It's
no?
not a brag. No, but I never had guitar lessons. So I don't know how to go back to.
I guess you had no fundamentals to rely on because you had never had it yourself.
I didn't know how to teach how do you, it sounds terrible. I don't mean it like this, but I say this to one friend. I'm like, how is that not a D chord? That just is. There is no how. I don't know how to explain it.
I think
So I was
people assume
rubbish.
that if you're skilled at something, you can teach that skill to someone else, and they forget that teaching is its own skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge skill.
Yeah.
Being able to pass over information. Yeah.
Totally.
I'm awful at it. So
Well, that kind of leads us nicely into what do you do now, Jack? Like what fills your time these days? In the least modest way you can.
in the least modest way, session musician, a recording musician, and a songwriter, I guess. So I split my time between doing tours, festivals, live shows, and writing songs, recording songs, albums, EPs, whatever it is, studio wise. It's quite an even split these days, so which is nice.
So you're essentially doing what you grew up wanting to do.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And when you were growing
Very
up,
lucky.
And had an interest in all that stuff and wanted to just keep doing what you love, did you find that your family were supportive of that, or were you ever faced with like, but you really should kind of carry on with your academic studies and have a fallback? Like, did they, or were they
did they try to deter you from your path?
I would never say deter, no. I don't think there was ever like a negative Nancy in the family going, no, you can't, have you thought about this? I think, and my dad's quite an academic sort of guy, and I think he had his reservation. I think it's really normal, isn't it? It's like your kid's good at something, but then you're like, how good? Am I being biased because I'm their parent? Do I just think they're great and they're not?
Yeah.
Or whatever. So I think that there was that natural period. I don't know, I've never spoken to him about it. Maybe around the college time when I was at ACM, it's like, that's now what I'm choosing to do at a higher education level. This is I have no backup. Like, I really, I have no plan B. I'm good at nothing else. So I think that's always driven me, but that scares probably the people around me a bit.
So like, you obviously just had this unwavering belief that is what you were going to do.
I think so.
Do you think
or you
that
just did it because you loved it?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is like, yeah, of course, the love comes first, but the fact that it gave you this determination and belief that whatever happens, that's what you want to do.
If I'm honest, when I look at it, sort of step back, I think I was really lucky. I had, as I say, going right back to my grandma supporting me as a 5-year-old, to, my parents buying me that first guitar. My mum found that academy. We just happened to live in a part of the world where there's a music college down the road. You know, ACM was half an hour from my house. I met my now wife at that college. The guy that was in my band when I was 11 ended up going to the same college. And I feel very lucky that a lot of it happened around me. I was never deterred from it. So I think I was allowed to believe that I could do it, which I think is a huge thing. I think if you've got someone going, you are good at guitar, you're going to earn a lot more money doing something else. No one ever told me that. I mean, I know that as fact now, but there's a lot of things but I would be deeply unhappy if I was doing something else. So,
and that is something that me and Rach both have unintentionally sort of repeated in each of our episodes was that, but what else would I do? Because nothing fulfills me like this.
I feel like we've all probably all dabbled in different things. I think for me, it's been different areas of music, what feels good and what I've tried the bits that earn more money and trying to do that, but that doesn't fulfill me as much. It's not as creative. So perhaps playing weddings and functions, I tried really doubling down on that, doing 3 or 4 a week, maybe miserable.
So you've definitely prioritized your passion over sort of like monetary gain.
I think so, but I also think that's very situational. With the touring, for example, I can know months in advance that for the whole of September I'll be away and that I'm going to earn X amount and that this, and barring a catastrophe or, someone breaking their leg or something, we're all going to go on that tour, we're all going to earn that money. So in August, I can relax a little bit because it's such a concentrated amount of money when you go on tour. It's every single day that, and the money's good. So it's like, okay, I can take it slightly really easier in August. You can adjust for it. So I'd rather sit back, keep myself hungry and passionate about what I'm doing than just be busy all the time, have no home life, really like a good work-life balance. And it's for me anyway, it's so important. I get so miserable when I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you and Lou are two of the people that I would say you have a really good balance of doing the things you love.
Yeah.
Like on top of your sort of the jobs you do. Like you always seem to be seeing places. I know you love to travel.
Yeah.
And I mean, traveling comes with your job anyway, but it must be nice to do it with your wife as well.
Yeah. Well, it's always you get to go see these amazing places for like 24 hours. We're at New York, and then it's like, I think it was really cool. I'll have to come back, but I don't want to do it on my own. Yeah. And however much I love the people that I work with, like that. In the nicest way, we'd probably all agree we're not the people we want to do it with. It's your partners or your family or your friends. So,
but that's what I find so refreshing to hear, because I think there's so many. I always kind of go back to younger people, even though this isn't just for younger people, like older people who can change their career at any point if they're lucky enough to. But younger people who, they know what they love, but they have all this outside pressure of,
it's like noise.
but that's not a career, or that's not, you're not going to make money from that, or have a fallback though, because it's not, you know, it's never going to be good enough to live off. So, but to hear you say that, I think people kind of put themselves in a box where they're like, okay, I love music, so the goal is I want to be on stage playing electric guitar for the biggest artists in the world. That seems unachievable or unobtainable. But even you saying, but there's weddings that earn money, and there's this to earn money, and there's others. And even though you said, actually, that didn't fulfill you at all, there's other ways of getting money.
Oh yeah, we know quite a lot of
love.
people that live in the wedding scene, and they make a hell of a lot of money doing that.
I remember meeting a guy once who was a bass player. Didn't know him. He was just on this wedding gig, and I've never seen anyone enjoy playing someone's wedding as much. He loved it. He was like crying through the first dance, like, because obviously you got to stand there like ready to. Well, I don't think we were playing the first dance, but either way, we stood there like watching this couple. He was so into it. It was like he didn't know them, but it was like he was a family member. Loved it.
Surely you can't do that at every wedding. It must get old.
Do you know what? I've only played
every...
with him once, and that was so. Perhaps he's out there today playing.
Just bawling his eyes out at every single wedding.
But and I remember kind of just watching him the whole time we were playing, and he just loved it. And I asked him afterwards, I was like, do you really love this, or are you sort of, you know, putting it on a bit? Because we all, you know, we like playing weddings, but it's not why we started.
Yeah.
He's like, I absolutely love it. He was like, I just get to drive around like stately homes and beautiful parks, and I get to see people on the best day of their lives. And I was like,
true.
Your perspective is different.
Wow.
Amazing. But there's people out there that functions are made for. I kind of like to pile up my backups of like, okay, worst comes to worst, I teach.
Oh God!
Oh God, help
Let's
us!
hope that doesn't.
God help the youth of today.
And I've got terrible reviews online and barely any students, but I teach. Yeah? That's my bottom line.
That's brilliant.
And your
Love
job will
that.
be to put every kid off of playing guitar
Exactly
in the local area.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many areas in music that you can go on to do. As I say, I thought I was going to be in a band forever. I never thought I'd be recording and writing or playing for different artists and things like that. Never.
But it's okay that something just isn't your like area. Like you just don't enjoy that as much as like playing shows on a stage, like in front of a bigger audience, you know.
Yeah.
So,
but then
it's okay to have preferences, I think.
Of course, yeah. I mean, you started out on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Full on just the YouTube guy.
Yeah.
And like now, when was the last time you uploaded a YouTube video?
Oh my God, so long ago.
And you think you would never have foreseen that would even be a thing. You're like, well, I have to upload YouTube videos. That's what I do.
Yeah.
One thing I said in my episode though is adapting. As you move through your career, especially in the industry we're in, you've got to adapt to the situation.
Yeah, all the time.
Obviously, because of COVID and all that stuff, like things keep happening that make you kind of have to not necessarily rethink what you're doing, but approach it in a new way.
Yeah. Well, it does change constantly. Creative industries are always just like moving and changing. And
what is one of the moments you've had that you think, oh wow, I've not necessarily made it, but I'm doing it.
The first time I went to America to work, that was like, because America's musician scene is just phenomenal. So, and I feel like it's so much easier and cheaper to hire musicians out there than bring over UK musicians. So for an artist to take to take me over with them, that was really amazing. I don't know why I've been obsessed with America since I was young, particularly New York.
Who was it?
It was Mimi Webb. So I was playing with her, and
you did some crazy stuff with her over there.
Yeah, some amazing stuff. So I landed in New York, the city I want to go to my whole life, all by myself. I mean, I'm a grown adult. This was like a couple of years ago, but I was just like, I was so excited. I remember stopping for a bagel. I remember sitting there in this window, really busy street. I don't even know where I was, but really busy street. And I nearly cried because I was like, playing guitar has brought me here. Like, how on earth has that happened?
I mean, that's wild in itself that you're thinking about how your job has got you to somewhere and you're not actually playing it at the time.
Yeah. Most of the
That's
moments I have
crazy.
are like that. It's not in the, so I guess I like concentrate, or maybe I don't. Maybe I zone out when I play.
Probably got other
but-
things to think about when you're
Yeah,
playing
other
guitar.
things to concentrate. But yeah, just in that moment, I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I've actually not made it, but I was like, I've made it here. Like, I got here.
You feel fulfilled.
Someone paid for me to get on a plane to come here and play my instrument. Like, that's so cool. I don't know. There's people that tour all the time and get to do this all the time, and they'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, but
for
that
me,
trip though,
this
didn't you?
was-
You did Fallon,
We did Jimmy Fallon, yeah.
which
One of the
is
big
insane.
TV things, yeah.
Because I didn't even. I didn't. I don't think I even spoke to you before you went on this trip, and then I think you might have posted a story that like, oh, we're backstage at Jimmy Fallon. And I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. No, it just
How was
Yeah.
that experience?
great. Yeah, nerve wracking. I had a guitar solo. It's so funny you get caught up in the stupid moments of this. But that song that we were playing, there was a guitar solo where I had to go out front and sort of like,
This is House on Fire, right?
yeah, House on Fire, yeah, Mimi's song House on Fire. And it's guitar solo. I've got to go out front and sort of not dance with her, I can't dance, but sort of perform with her at the front. And like there's this whole issue because they had these lights that are immovable on Jimmy Fallon. You don't touch the lights. And I had a guitar cable.
Don't
in.
touch Fallon's lights.
Yeah, don't go anywhere near him. And I had this guitar cable in, obviously, and we didn't have a wireless thing, so it was all tied up, and I had to step over these lights. And every time we rehearsed it, I got tangled on the lights and nearly like dragged back over. And we just ran out of time because live TV is just you have no times. They were like, right, that's your rehearsal. You just. And I was like, yeah, but every time I've done it, I've tripped up. No, you'll be fine. I was like, but I've got to do this on
So
like,
is it
national
live? Or is that? Do they kind of pre-record it a couple of times and maybe pick the best one?
It's recorded live, as in like, I don't know, best describe it. It's like the audience is live. He's doing everything like if he makes a mistake, he can restart his sentence. But they're doing it very much like as it goes.
Right.
So the edit is minimal. They just try and do
So
it. back
basically,
to
if you
front.
tripped over the light, they're not going cut. Let's go again.
They would finish the take in case the rest of it was great. And then they'd be like, right, do we want to do that again? And I'd be going, yes, we do want to do that again. But theoretically, they could go with that. So, but yeah, anyway, so it's things like that. So however amazing the experience was, I just remember my whole day being dominated by this light on
And
the floor.
did you after that?
I gently tripped over it on the
And that's the one they
take.
used?
That's the one they used, yeah.
Wow, because I've
Yeah.
watched it, I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
I didn't either.
I take a huge step over it, so I clear it with my first leg, and I thought I've done well here. I just clipped it with my heel.
But you're mid solo then,
yeah,
so you're trying to avoid tripping up, and you're mid solo.
mid solo.
Jesus.
Luckily, it's a nice solo. It's not like crazy.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But yeah. So there was that. To be fair, a lot of the stuff that we did with her,
You did
some of the performances were just
Summertime Ball.
Summertime Ball, yeah,
Yeah.
Capital Summertime. That's it. Yeah, Wembley Stadium, mental. Yeah, I mean, I always feel for context, it's important to point out that is a mimed show. That she sings live. All the artists always sing live. I think even the BVs sing live. A lot of it, that's backing vocals. So on those ones, it's fun because you can kind of
Oh, you can just
really
give it
take
everything,
In.
yeah.
Oh, you're just playing. What I mean, it's got to look.
It's like me at the Esme show.
Yeah,
Were you miming?
Of course I was. I
What were
can't
you
play.
doing?
I can't
So
play
when
bass.
so when
You can play bass.
when so I basically tour managed Esme doing her show in Amsterdam. Talking about
Yeah.
Esme Denters, by the way.
Yeah.
And I basically tour managed that whole trip. I drove us over to Amsterdam for
did.
one show, like almost like a homecoming show.
Yeah.
And Jack, you were like MDing it. So you were like, however, I mean, there's only me, you, and then the rest of the band. So
Yeah.
me, you, and James, and
yeah,
that was
three
it.
of us, yeah.
So I think you were like, well, there's bass on everything. Like, we can't just have Esme, me, and James. There's just not gonna
Yeah,
make sense. So Jack was like, well, I think you should just play bass,
yeah.
just be on stage.
I need to see some footage of this.
There is
Is the
there is
footage? Yeah.
footage.
We'll get that
I think
later.
Esme has it on her
Yeah.
channel. But and I was just basically doing what you're saying, just
Yeah.
pretending. And her
Yeah,
dad
because-
came up to me after the show and said,
Oh yeah, but
"Your bass skills are just unbelievable. And I didn't have the heart.
Yeah,
to
you couldn't
say
break him.
I'm miming, because he was over the moon. He was
Yeah.
like, I love bass. And I was like, oh,
I remember you
God.
saying that.
That's
Absolutely loved the bass player. Yeah, didn't compliment the rest of us.
He
just
loved
the one that was
I was like, because the
miming.
bass sounded perfect, because
Guitar was
it's
a
literally
bit-
a
Of course.
stem from the
Yeah.
track.
oh my god.
Guitar was a bit shabby, but
Yeah.
yeah. No, so yeah, even at those even at that level, stuff is mimed, and I think, but as I say, that brings on a different enjoyment, because then you can stand there and really take it in and really, which is why that was probably the most terrifying show I've ever done, because she, the big catwalks they do on the
Yes, you have to walk out quite a long way.
It's the same song, House on Fire Again. But this runway, I have a terrible gauge of distance, but I'm going to say at least 50 meters or something like that. It's just a long distance to walk. And again, you get sort of one run through, because it's like 20
I was
acts
going to
on that
ask
day.
that. You get a rehearsal.
Yeah, and it's more like Mimi had so much to worry about. She's getting popped up out of a hole in the floor.
Oh, so she was like choreographed.
And she's the one actually singing, so quite rightly the rehearsal was mainly based around her. And they're like, oh, cool. And the guitar solo, you'll just go out to the middle. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I'm trying to time a 50 meter or whatever minute walk to get to her. And I missed my, I was meant to leave at the start of the chorus, and that gave me like 20 seconds to get there. And I forgot. And I left
break
like
into a
half
little
of the-
jog.
I had a little jog down the middle of Wembley Stadium, just trying to. I was like, I'm coming. It's like, and trying to play convinced me enough where it didn't look like I was miming. And it's so. Yet again, biggest venue I'll probably ever play in my life, and I'm worried about jogging. It's just so silly.
I mean, if people want to check out that, it's a great
It's
video.
on YouTube, yeah,
it's a
it's
great
good.
performance.
Yeah.
So check out Mimi Webb doing House on Fire at the Capital
Yeah.
Summertime Ball last year.
2022.
22.
Yeah. If you want to watch me half
It's
jog.
really good though.
It's
I've watched that video a
It is
couple of
good.
times.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It is good. It was a great day. Really
Massive
nice
proud
day.
friend moments there.
Oh, absolutely.
that's
And
great.
quickly, another proud friend moment, which is one of my favourite videos to watch, is the I think JP did an acoustic, like a gospel version of Holy Water.
Oh yeah.
in like a church or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
That I was watching that. I think that I don't know if I put that on, but we were listening to JP on YouTube, and I think that video came on. And I don't think, because you don't really share loads, or if you do, they're on stories, so I miss it.
Yeah.
That is so cool, and I
It's a
watched that
good
video
one,
just
yeah.
to play people your solo in it.
Oh, that's very
because it's
kind.
so good.
I'm proud of that.
So if
solo,
people
yeah,
are
it's nice.
people are wanting to watch a few clips for context, watch the JP Cooper
That's
Holy
very
Water
kind, yeah.
video. What is it called? Gospel version.
It's just like gospel version, yeah. JP
Right.
Holy Water.
Yeah,
gospel
give that a
version,
watch.
yeah.
But we'll share it on
it's good.
story as well.
Do you know what? I tried to share that one, but you have certain labels and certain songs you can't do the. I had the same with the Jimmy Fallon thing. I didn't have access to share the footage,
Sure.
So I put it up, and it was like it's banned from all these countries. Well, no one's going to see that. So yeah,
Available in Guadeloupe.
yeah.
One of my favourite stories you've ever told, but I don't know if you are allowed to tell it.
Okay. What
And
is it?
it's the shower.
Oh yeah.
So it's related to a project that you can talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So,
So-
I know you hate dropping names and all of that, but
I do,
this is
yeah.
probably a very big name to drop. But Jack was involved in Stormzy's recent album, and there's a very funny story about the camp that you went to.
So it was quite a long. It started in lockdowny sort of COVID time, so it was all a bit awkward anyway because everyone's. Well, there was a couple of people wearing masks, a couple of people wasn't, but it was at the time we didn't know if it was okay
Yeah.
to or not.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was feeling a bit awkward about
It's like,
everything.
is
Anyway.
it 2 meters? Like what we do?
Yeah.
Like, no definitive rules.
I was
and-
opening
Elbow
all the
hug?
I was opening all the doors with my elbows, so I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
So I was feeling pretty awkward about it anyway. And obviously, I'm nervous as hell because there's Stormzy in the other room, and he was doing his thing. He's such he's lovely, but he's just the biggest guy.
Big guy,
so,
isn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
huge. So it's just like, oh my god, right, okay. And I'm just trying to play guitar well. So I just thought, I'm probably only ever going to work with him once. Let me just play guitar well. So that happened. I think I played all right. And then, got to the end of the day. Didn't really know. I think he was still recording a bit. So I was like, do you know what? I'm really tired. I'm probably going to head home. but I really needed a wee. So I was like, I'll go to the bathroom. I will go to the toilet before I go. I'll be sensible. Yeah, it's like a really high-tech studio. I don't even know where it was, but everything was like touch thing or censored. I don't know. So I go into this bathroom. The light didn't come on, so I was like, okay, I'm just feeling around, but also trying not to feel because of COVID and things. I'm just
elbowing everything.
I'm just elbowing stuff, and I sort of see this big like power button, and I just hit it, and the shower just comes on right above me. It's like a whole wet room thing, and I haven't said goodbye to anyone yet, so. The shower just comes on, and luckily I sort of half dodge it, but the whole right side of my body is just coated in water, soaking wet. So I turned the thing off. Then I found the light, and I'm seeing the damage, and I was like, "Okay, so I have to go and say goodbye because it's really rude not to." And I'm almost. They'll be like, "That guy just left, came, played guitar, and left. That's so rude." So I have to go in and say goodbye. I'm already nervous because shaking hand. I was just like. It's that time where social interaction is really difficult. And now I'm soaking wet. How do you explain that?
How did you explain that?
Well, I didn't. I just went in and everyone was kind of busy. And I just went, guys, I'm heading off now. I was like, yeah, nice one. Sort of like looking at
Did you try and keep your dry side like in the show?
I went in left half first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just sort of was like, yeah, I'm going to head off now. And everyone's like, yeah, bye, man. And they all turn around sort of.
Why is this guy half wet?
Just like a trail of water behind me. And,
no.
Yeah, and I obviously just thought, well, I'm never going to. They're going to be like, what was his deal? Why did he come in soaking wet, but only.
But you made it onto the album, right?
I made it onto the. Well, luckily that was the beginning of the album process, which was
So they did bring you back.
They did bring me back.
Good.
Yeah, which is a good 2 years of studio sessions and recording, and very lucky to have worked with him. Just feel lucky to have met a very nice artist, a very nice guy, humble, hardworking,
I'm so glad
talented
he's like
beyond
that.
belief. I remember my mum was unwell, and he would every time I'd see him, he's like, "How's your mum? How's your dad doing?"
Wow!
Doesn't have to remember that stuff. So
it's what we were saying though about being nice in the industry.
Any opportunity I get to big him up, I will, because I just think. Take everything else away, just a really, really nice human being.
Bigging up Big Mike.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun. Like, I wasn't there throughout the whole process, but when I got to go and do my bits, I had a lot of fun doing it. And I think the album feels great. It's not everyone's favourite Stormzy album, but I loved being a tiny, tiny part of it. So that was great.
Yes, that tidily brings us on to the
crux.
What is that?
Crux of the.
What is that?
Is that I don't know.
The pinnacle?
The pinnacle. There you go. That's a good word. The pinnacle of the podcast. I don't know if I like that. But it brings us to the end of the podcast where we ask you, what were you made for, Jack Shepherd?
I don't know whether it's exclusively what I'm made for, but I think the thing I do best and the thing I enjoy doing the most is sharing music with people. I think whether that's I think standing on stage and playing the beginning of a song that people like, or playing that guitar solo on Mimi's song, or whatever it might be, and seeing people's faces light up because they're hearing that bit, or this is the song they got married to, or that is, I mean, albeit they're not my songs, but translating those songs in a live setting and see it, and all these people have come from all over the world to, you do a show in London, people fly in from where everyone's made their journeys, got their plane tickets, their train, they've left work early that day just to be in that room to hear that song or to hear that. It's such an amazing thing. I think that's really cool. And I love that I can be just one person on stage, but deliver part of that to people. That's really cool. And possibly what I think I was sort of put here to do, if you like.
Honestly, mate, it's like the perfect story of a childhood dream becoming, it's just reality now for you. Like, that's what you do.
It's funny, isn't it, though? Because I definitely don't see it as that. But when you say it, or you think of it in that order of like, I liked a guitar. I was fortunate enough to get a guitar. I then got good at guitar, and then I've been able to do it as a job, and I made friends through it. It's very dreamlike. And And yet here I am, and I'm thinking, what can I do better? Who can I work for next?
Yeah, but then because as we get older, responsibilities come into it. You've got bills to pay, and you have to think of it more of a job. Like, we can't always be so childlike in our aspirations when you get to a certain age. As long as you don't lose sight of why you originally got into it in the first place, and you like the moment you had in New York with your bagel, like just thinking about how you were appreciating how far you'd come. And I think it's important to have those moments because you do realise that your dreams have come true.
I guess so, yeah. And do you know what? The crazy thing is there's been other... When I think of it in a dreamlike way, there are other moments that, I mean, do you remember that band Fickle Friends that I played for? It's their biggest fan for 8 years. Somehow ended up that I play with them now. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. That's dreamlike for me. I love them. I think they're so good. Such a fanboy that I struggle to keep my cool around them. I get to do that. Or the Zara Larsson thing. She's one of my favourite pop artists. I'm we were watching her on telly on BBC or whatever, and Lou was like, you could do a good job working with her. And I was like, I'd love to play with her. I got the call that night to go, and it was just
crazy.
That is so strange.
Weird. That was a weird one. And you're like, the way stuff has happened for me, I feel really, really, really lucky.
I don't think it is a lot of luck. I do think what we've spoken about, the fact you are such a good person, you're a talented person. And I think ultimately the fact that you have just always continued to do the thing that you love, worked hard at it, never been complacent, never sat around waiting for the phone to ring.
Oh, I did do a bit of that.
Did you?
First year out of college, me and Lou just sat home going, this is awfully quiet.
Why are we not
Why are we
famous
getting
yet?
books for things? I was busy a couple of months ago. What's happened now? No, we did a bit of that. But
But since then.
Since then. No, do you know what it is? If you work, you have to love it. It's like any job in the world, but if you want to do it your whole life, you have to love it. And everyone knows, or it's common knowledge, that the music industry is a bit difficult. Not everyone's that nice, thick skin, all that kind of stuff. But you can have all of that, but if you don't love what you're doing, you won't make it, because it's not success. You just won't last the journey, because it just can bog you down. So if you can love it, I have the worst day at work, but if I come home and I still pick up my guitar and I can still get enjoyment out of that, I'll probably turn up again tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if I hated it, I was like, I never want to... I mean, I've had those days where you want to throw your guitar out the window, but if you can love it non-stop, and even if I don't love guitar that day, I love music that day, and I'll listen to that. Yeah. And if you can learn to love it or find bits that you love, it will. I think that goes for any creative thing.
100%,
dancing.
yeah.
If you finish your lesson, you love it so much, you're gonna go home and practice more, and you're gonna, or music production or what. If you can love it, I think that will.
So basically, get you there. Follow the love.
Yeah, whatever you love to do, just do that lots and love it more.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. I love it.
Clip that.
Yeah,
what a lovely little.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, mate. That was very insightful,
Pleasure.
and I think you're going to help.
Really nice.
I think you're going to help a lot of young people who.
I think there's something for.
Yeah, something for everyone.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's go have some curry.
Let's go and have a curry.
Starving.
Do you know how much
I need a wee.
So there you have it, Jack Shepherd. I think that was a good episode.
I loved that.
For a first guest.
Yeah.
I think he smashed it.
Well, not just for a first guest. Don't put him down.
No, I'm not putting him down.
For a first guest, Jack, you were all right, actually.
No, you're missing the point. What I'm saying is he was our first guest and it was that amazing. So, we got big shoes to fill after this.
Yeah.
Follow us on all our socials at What Was I Made For Pod everywhere. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Well, actually, don't bother.
Who uses that?
Who uses that?
Dinosaurs.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Join my mum over on the Facebook page.
And mine, probably.
Yeah, and yours, yeah.
Send in some questions. I know that people aren't necessarily going to know who our next guests are coming up, but just in case you're better than us at asking questions, what would you ask somebody about how they ended up getting to where they are? And
maybe it's not even specific to a guest. If you've just got queries about your own career and where you're heading and what, any stresses you're under, just email us and we'll read it out on the podcast, and we can put polls on Spotify episodes. So if you've got a good question for the Spotify poll, then we can put it up and see what everybody thinks, and you can get answers that way. Anyway, we will see you in episode 4 of What Was I Made For?
Da 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 da.
Rachel's really tired.
I'm
if you
so
couldn't
tired.
Tell.
Oh, come on, we need to go to bed.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. What Was I Made For is a Reynolds Studios production.